Hi, this is Dana, and on my two channels, I speak about spiritual warfare on the other channel, and on this channel, I focus on astrology as from the perspective of archaeological research, anthropological research in spiritual realm. Um, I already made two videos, one video, split it into on the other channel, and I invite you to watch those because they are strictly connected with this one. Here I will just talk for very briefly about the topic which I discussed on the other channel, but I will expand on other topics. So the basic information that I want to put out there right now, in the perspective of the June Karmic Board meeting, which I invite everyone to prepare for it. You have 2 months left, 2, 3 months left to work on it. And I think this is very important timing to pause, reflect, and do introspection and planning for the next steps, right? And how to actually maximize the opportunity of the karmic board meeting, what to ask for, what to pledge for, and so on. So with this in mind, the information that I want to put out there is that of a, sort of like a snapshot, a bottom line of exactly the current situation in terms of spiritual fighting and spiritual evolution of ascension, is that 3D and 5D essentially coexist. There is no above, there is no below. There is a very fake knowledge which says as above, so below. And people tend to think in positive terms if we stay in 3D and reflect here in 3D, the 5D. So they say we here in 3D have the mirroring effect, mirror image of 5D. That is a fake knowledge. I'm here to say this. There is no above, there is no below. God, Jesus, the entire divine realm is right here next to us. The only problem is that we are in different type of densities, on different levels of consciousness. Namely, in 3D, there is a lot of darkness. So those of us who chose to incarnate are in under the influence of the 3D type of darkness. Hence, the communication with the 5D, which is right here next to you, is more or less um, facile based on how much darkness you carry, how many bondages have been created on you, how high is your vibration, of course, how much good you have done and how much darkness you have transmuted, how much bondage breaking you have done, how much spiritual fighting you have done, and so on. So essentially 3D and 5D coexist and compete here on Earth, on the same plane. It's just a matter of representation. Those who are incarnated into 3D essentially have a higher density of darkness because of bondages created on them, which they came here in order to break them. Okay, so this is why you have so many copycats, so much stolen identity, because 3D essentially is a copy created by darkness of the 5D. As I said in the other videos, the example that you could use to have a clear representation of this are the frozen conflicts in those countries where basically separatist movements broke away from the central government, and they took a certain territory under their control, and they claim independence and status. It's exactly the same thing happens with the 3D as compared to 5D. So there is a state of conflict between the 3D and the 5D. Now, how you raise your vibration, how you what strategy you employ to ascend into 5D essentially uh, refers to uh, um, your energy, cleaning up your energy, breaking the bondage, doing the spiritual fighting. That's essentially the goal. But how you do it, it's a matter of personal decision and divine guidance, of course. There is nowhere else to go. Here, basically, you stay, you just evolve and you ascend. Now, um, I'm not gonna get into a lot of details about the spiritual fighting in this video, because here we have a different focus. Just I will remind you that you came into 3D here in order to settle the record straight with the divine truth, putting forward the divine truth, delivering karma to those who created the 3D, which is a dark copy of the 5D created by darkness. So you must deliver the divine truth, deliver karma to them, break bondage, and move on into 5D. You do not leave the 3D. This is not why you came here. You came here to essentially take back power, right? Again, I give the example of the separatist movements which took control of a certain territory. Just study that, Google that, and you will understand the entire concept of 3D, right? Now, those who created the 3D used alliances with other races, extraterrestrial races, with whom they created all that is occult practice of witchcraft, sorcery, black magic, ritualic ceremonies, and so on, in order to create this density, to create this darkness, right? Um, and to fight against God's lineage, which is here, but it has a different type of density, a different type of vibration, and a different status of consciousness, right? Now, on this channel, we focus more on this topic, how they on alliances with extraterrestrial races, right? This is the focus of astrology, which share with us they are essentially different civilizations which share with us different type of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and so on. Now they succeeded to create that by taking a domain over spirits of humans. Um, and this type of taking domain, this is a higher level of sort of possession. It's a stronger grip, much stronger than the possession. It's an addiction type of type bondage, and those toxic relations of which out of which they cannot, nobody succeeds of breaking off, right? It usually happens when the individual sells his or her soul. So it's when they succeed in convincing the individual to do that. And this is a consequence of ritualic ceremonies and sacrificing others, worshiping other forces, and so on, right? Um, Now, karma delivery to this type of individual is returning basically to sender what they have created. Breaking bondage is returning to sender and gaining authority in face of those forces of darkness being used. Now, to come back to the topic of this channel, alliances among extraterrestrial races, extraterrestrial forces, different civilizations, this is what essentially supports the 3D existence, right? And the darkness creation. The 3D aims alliances with these races, with the races they chose, which can help them to preserve, to create and preserve the 3D, right? Um, those are races and forces which pursue practices and hold knowledge pertaining, which are valuable to the individuals who run the 3D, the matrix, right? By to create bondages and darkness on humans in order on others in order to feed on them. um, and these are different type of races, right? I'm not going to enter into this topic now, depending on different type of bondages that are of interest um, um, to to them in order to enslave basically humans and take power over human spirit, right? um, Now what they do, for example, you have what type of practices they have. For example, voodoo, santeria, working with nature elements, spirits of water, of fire, of right, of air, and so on, satanic rituals, and so on. Now, much of this knowledge and authority, which they claim and use in order to create the 3D, right? Um, and this is very important for you to understand. This is how the 3D was created, and this is how it's being maintained. Now, much of this knowledge that they use has been stolen from you, and it has been distorted into darkness, right? Um, Bondages and darkness associated with this stolen, but these acts of stealing your gifts and distorting them into darkness. um, so they created these bondages in order to keep you from remembering the practice which they stole from you. This is how actually they keep the power, right? Now you came here in order to break these bondages which they created on you, take back your practices, your gifts. By breaking those bondages, you also nullify all the darkness creation with those gifts which you held, and taking your power back and working with your gifts, that cuts off their access to continue to do this. I'm not sure that I made myself clear enough, um, but for example, 5D, darkness creation does not exist. Black magic does not exist. Sorcery doesn't exist. None of these occult practices exist in 5D because you don't create darkness, right? So, for them to create the 3D, they stole a positive gift that you have, a gift focused on creating light, and they distorted it into creating darkness, right? Now you came here in order to claim back who you are, and the power and the gift which they stole from you, and by breaking the bondage they created on you to do this, you nullify that branch of black magic or whatever, satanic rituals and whatever other things they do, right? All practices of 3D are creating darkness, and this is essentially why they distorted your gift, because they use it for evil, malefic goals, right? This is why you came to 3D, in order to reclaim all of this, the power, the status, the ranking, the gift, and which implies also to work with the gifts that you claim back, right? I will give you one example to make it more clear. For example, hydromancy is the art of employing water to create abundance in terms of growth in nature, in agriculture, in general, and cleansing. It is the art of cleansing energy, healing, soothing, healing. It has lots of positive contribution and impact on the world and the earth. Because working with water is one of my gifts, is part of my domain, and part of my identity. While I have been incarnated in 3D, I have been encountering a lot of attacks by water magic. it seemed crazy to me for a long time. My neighbors are constantly doing this water magic at me, um, a few times a day. And I was like, why they focus on water? Why they use water is not the only type of dark magic thrown at me, but they do this as well. And this has been puzzling to me for a while. I didn't understand why until recently when I learned that they distorted the role played by water. They created water spirits tasked by them to harm humans. And they distorted the practice of hydromancy into a branch of black magic, which is not supposed to be black magic, right? I learned part of this spiritual investigation and spiritual fighting I have done. I learned that I incarnated in 3D in order to break all of this and to punish those responsible for creating all of this, and to nullify all these darkness creation practices through water, right? So this is what I meant before. I gave you an example so you can understand what I mean. So in order to achieve this, you need to do ancestral healing to learn about your identity, your past, so you can break the bondages created in different timelines, different parallel lifetimes, and past lifetimes. Learn who you are, break those bondages, reclaim your gift and your status, your power and your ranking, and their rights, and work with your gifts, right? Work with that in order to nullify the first of all the existence of occult dark practices with whatever gift and area you have, and of course you have to develop in order to achieve that you have to develop the 5D type of practice in your field, like I intend to do with water and so on. So for this, of course, this is in a nutshell. You when you do this ancestral healing, you will identify your ancestors. You will identify the extraterrestrial forces which work with you as ancestors or simple allies, and you will work with them. You will have their support. You will claim their support. So I think this information is really important for you to reflect upon, and to prepare for the karmic board meeting in June, a astral letter in which you require help in doing all of this, because this is the first step, basically mandatory in order uh, to identify those type of extraterrestrial forces and civilizations which you want to connect to. It is not useful for you to just I thought a lot about this, how to do this, and I asked God how to do this, if I should make a list first and investigation on a number of civilizations and extraterrestrial forces, and God has guided me to put forward first this information, because most important now we are still in the process of spiritual fighting. There's still a lot to fight in order to break the 3D, and since we are in a bondage breaking phase, we are not in the creation phase of 5D already. We are still struggling to break the 3D, right? So this is, God said this is the path to go, the useful path to go, because these civilizations and races which work with you anyhow, because they share the knowledge which you are supposed to reclaim, um, they will help you to break that bondage. So they will act as your spiritual divine supporters in what you have to do right now. So they will help you to break the bondages in order to reclaim your power. Okay, so this is the path God guided me to indicate. Um, I believe this is most important at this point in time. And of course, I will come back with different videos on different with different approaches to astrology. As of now, it seems that astrology is more useful in the process of ascension from this perspective. If everyone connects to their own sort of, extraterrestrial forces and community of civilizations which share the same interests, the same knowledge, the same practices, and so on. And this will be more useful also for the humankind, because you nullify different types of branches from the occult practices which are being employed in order to keep humans hostages in this 3D darkness creation, separatist movement, and frozen conflict. So that would help the overall ascension process, right? Okay, I hope this helps. Um, this is the result, this information is the result of my latest investigation in spiritual realm. I hope it helps you in the work that you are doing right now, and I hope also that it opens up new perspectives for you to reposition yourself, to maybe plan your next moves, and maybe even, your path into 5D, your purpose, your I wish all of you to discover miracles, and in doing this, about who you are, about who you work with, about what you want to achieve. And of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I will be happy to answer. Of course, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, so we'll make sure that the information reaches as many people as possible. And if you feel generous and you want to donate, you have my PayPal information in the description box below. Thank you.